I got it. You know what they were missing inside of this movie? They could have solved all of their problems throughout the entire thing, whether it be getting the vehicle, stopping Wicked and everything. They forgot their screwdriver. Would you like to borrow one? Or three? Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of Maze Runner 2: The Scorch Trials. Yeah, the blandest movie you think I've ever seen in my life. No joke. I actually sent this on a quest to try to find me a blander movie. It broke down and needs some fixing. So yeah, this movie was more than just a little on the bland side. In fact, you can tell which movies it's ripping off throughout the entire film. At one point, it'll be I, Robot. Another point, it'll be I Am Legend. Another point, it'll be Mad Max. Another point, it'll be Resident Evil. This movie has no originality. And before someone tries to correct me about the books, Maze Runner, I don't care about those books. Frankly speaking, the movies are just another post-apocalyptic setting I don't really care about. If I'm going to read that kind of thing, I'll go read my Brandon Sanderson Reckoner series. So, yeah, this movie is bland. No originality, characters are all flat, every single dialogue, every single plot point twist, you see coming a mile away. I can't even believe that the books have to be better than this, right? For all those people who are going to argue the books, they have to be better than what I just saw on that stupid screen. It just boggles my mind that this was just... Some people are going to call this good. There's nothing good about it. Okay, that's a lie. So, yeah, I'm going to go... Before I go into the spoiler section, that's my overall general consensus of this. So my verdict for those who don't want spoilers is this movie gets an honest to God, fuck it. Yeah, for those wondering my opinions of the first one, the first movie was just as kind of annoyingly bland, but it had a cool look. I like the idea of the moving maze, although it makes no sense when you try to pair it up with this whole thing was to try to create a vaccine cure because they have to develop enzymes while they're solving problems at a young age while put under enormous stress. And your first thought was a giant city-sized maze with multiple entrances and shifting walls. I can think of a few easier ways to do this. Put a gun to someone's head, tell them solve the Rubik's Cube in less than a minute, or I am going to pull the trigger. You want intensity, you want something, you can do that. Giant maze? Okay. And I honestly did kind of like the robot spider scorpion things inside of there too. They looked cool. They're nowhere in this movie. They're nowhere. You see like a couple of them growing in a test tube in one of the labs. The big shocking reveal that they're still in Wicked, which was in the freaking trailer. Come on. But yeah, it's no longer that. It's a zombie movie. This movie is a post-apocalyptic zombie movie. I am not even kidding you. It boggles my mind. So yeah, going into the spoiler section, the plot of this is every single one of the stupid plague evil corporation movies you've ever seen. So they're taken in by the corporation and convinced, oh, they're good guys, even though they're acting like assholes, treating everyone like assholes, and rather than actually sending them all to the safe haven, they're doing a lottery system like in The Island. The Island, it made sense. It was a pre-programmed thing to keep the subjects docile until they're needed to harvest whatever organs out of them so they can be put inside the people who paid the company for that. There was a reason for that in The Island. In this, there's no reason why there's a lottery system other than to say, hey, they have some time before they get to their inevitable breakout because they find out what evil things are going on. So yeah, they break out and they have to go and find the Resistance, which is the right arm, who may be able to help fight the evil people and whatnot. And again, this is where it turns into Mad Max. The entire world is nothing but a giant desert. Society is all but broken down. The very few humans that are left are in shanty towns having drunken LSD-induced orgies. Yeah, that's a thing in this movie. But I'll get back to my problems with this civilization. Meanwhile, at night, they have these evil zombies who are just a ripoff of the vampire zombie things from I Am Legend and the Last of Us clickers. You know, the fungus-based zombies. They're like a halfway point between them. And they're all some of the worst CGI you will see this year. I am not even kidding you. There's some very, very pointless pieces of CGI filth in this movie, and these zombie things are one of them. I never once believed the main characters were fighting anything on screen. I do mean that. 90% of the backgrounds and everything is just CGI. It's a green screen. They're standing on some sand. We can't tell the difference. Yeah, so they end up running into several people who help them along the way, inevitably meeting up with the right hand, and shock of all shocks, one of the people inside their group betrays them, like every other one of these group movies that you've ever seen in your whole goddamn motherfucking life. I mean, seriously, is there nothing original in this film? Nothing? No, there isn't. You've seen every single one of these put out better, even this year. Mad Max Fury Road is a better example of doing this right than this movie. And it's so obvious that that's what they were trying to go for, feel and look-wise. I mean, they even ripped shots from fucking Resident Evil. And I'm not even kidding you. Shot for shot. The second film, when they're like running down the corridor, where it's all black and the only lights that you have are their flashlights that are going on and off and off. Yes, this is how I want to see my action scenes. I want to see them in pitch black with a freaking strobe light going off. I'm getting ahead of myself. As I said, I didn't really find anything that was good. They took a lot of really good actors inside this movie. The guy who plays the big baddie inside this one from Game of Thrones, he's good. He's creepy. He's given almost nothing to do with this film except for shoot one lady later on. Speaking of that lady he shoots later on, she gets maybe 15 minutes of screen time. She's the doctor. She's the girl from, I know her from The Haunting. I'm trying to think. She was in The Conjuring also. Freaking creepy scary girl. She plays a doctor who leads this resistance, the right arm. And yeah, she has maybe 10 minutes. She was actually doing something. She was actually giving the story some depth. We're learning about the virus, the flare, or whatever the fuck they want to call it, because they don't explain a goddamn thing in this movie. Or inside the last one, mind you. But I'll get to that in a second. They give her 10 minutes, and then Creepy McStuffoff has to shoot her. Like, no! You're finally explaining something! Please don't shoot her! But yeah, she's dead. And Alec Baldwin from Firefly, he's in this movie. He plays Marcus. He runs that LSD-induced drunk orgy I was talking about. And you want to know what? He's there for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. In this 2-hour movie, he's there for 5 minutes. Why hire good actors to do bit roles like this? I care more about these good actors who are getting no screen time than the bland pieces of teenage filth that you've got playing everybody else. I don't care about them. They do nothing that makes me want to. They're just running from an evil corporation. Why are they running? Because the evil corporation is so evil that they're trying to create a cure for the zombie outbreak. Yeah, that's the big twist. They're trying to cure this flare virus or whatever the fuck they want to call it. And you want to know what they're doing? They're harvesting a special enzyme from kids because they're the only ones who generate it. And the only way they can generate it is if they go through extreme problem-solving trials. Hence the whole maze situation. Now, you have to harvest it from them at that point. After they get out, after they produce it all, you just hook them up to a machine, you put them in a medically induced coma, and you just let them drip this stuff out. Of course, this is the only thing that can fight the flare, but it's not actually a cure. It's more of like a vaccine for a few months. And just, again, boggles my mind. Why are they supposed to be the evil ones? I know that they're called wicked, and I think it's kind of ironic considering the script that I'm writing right now. I have a evil corporation that has the same guidelines along line. Difference is, I actually made mine mean something. I actually make that wicked, use an example, I'm not going to tell you what my actual company name is called for copyright reasons, and it's an anagram. It's an anagram for an actual company's name. Yeah, it actually means something. Wicked doesn't mean jack shit, and they aren't doing anything that is considered illegal at this point. There's no government. They're trying to solve this. They're all doctors trying to solve this problem. And they're evil? Because of, oh, they're harvesting kids, and they're going to kill an entire generation. Blah, blah, blah. So they have maybe a few thousand kids? A few thousand? They are harvesting this stuff from to try to find a cure? When there are millions, if not billions, of people still left on the planet? I'm sorry, but numbers-wise, they're still in the right. I feel more sympathy for the bad guys than I do the good guys, who have done nothing but just trash their entire operations, make things hella worse for them, and make it harder for them to find this cure, which inevitably costs more lives. None of them see the big picture. And before someone tries to correct me on all of what I'm saying here, let me just put it out there. I get it. I get what they're trying to do in this film. They're trying to tell you that the ends don't justify the means. But then they forget that this is a zombie apocalypse. A zombie apocalypse. There are crazed, eyeball-ripping out, black sludge spitting, growing into the walls, zombie things everywhere. Who apparently don't like light, because they all go away during the day, except for this one time where they actually catch a couple of the heroes in their tunnels and they chase them out of the tunnels, because suddenly they aren't afraid of the light anymore. Come on. Think about it. You have to be consistent with the way these things act, but then they just wanted another action scene so they could rip off The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. No, seriously, that part where they're freaking on the truck goes like halfway over and the lady's on the glass back end of her truck, and like every single movement, her putting her hand down creates the little cracks. That is literally shot for shot in this movie. Just done with a collapsed building. To which I say, why is the building collapsed? No, I'm serious. Was there a nuclear war in the middle? Flare outbreak thing that destroyed everything? Because if there was, I'm pretty sure there wouldn't still be people living in fucking New York. I'm not even kidding. My problems with the civilization I'll get to in just a second, but yeah. So they're running from these zombies in the middle of the day, which makes no goddamn sense. And they run into this building that's like collapsed on top of another building, and they're like trying to climb up it to get to the other building and get down and get away from these things. But while they're doing that, the girl that's with the main character, whose name I don't even bother remembering, and she falls through one of the doors and lands on the glass window, which doesn't immediately break, even though it's pretty clear that the structural integrity of this building is pretty weak. But yeah, she starts doing that whole thing. Literally, they do it shot for shot, where she puts her hand on it, and instead of cracks coming from here, cracks come from here. And it's just like, did you really think I wouldn't notice that this is just The Lost World? Yeah. And yet, literally 2 seconds after that, not only is she able to get to her feet without the glass breaking, but then when the zombie things is able to come through, land on the glass without it breaking, have them fight without it breaking, until the main character comes down, lands on the frame, which was actually intelligent, even though that would probably still break the glass that the others are standing on. The sheer shockwave effect, but whatever, I'll give you that one. He comes over with a piece of metal and he hits the glass while catching the girl so that the zombie falls out. Physics! Here's for you, physics. This is for you. Because this movie doesn't care. It's just every post-apocalyptic movie. There were still 3 other zombies following them, but you never see any of them after this, by the way. Just saying. So, yeah, my problem... Let's talk about the civilization for a second, how this doesn't make any sense. And someone's going to probably put in the comics, it makes sense in the books. It should make sense on the TV too. Just saying. I shouldn't be lost wondering how has this survived by now. But yeah, they're in a post-apocalyptic New York where, of course, it's all just a giant desert and buildings are crumbling on top of each other. There's no semblance of society or even working cars for that matter. So when they actually find a working Bronco, they like do a bunch of panning shots to make it look like it's the new 2014 Mustang or 2016 Mustang or something. It's pretty sad. But yeah, there's an actual civilization here with people. They have like a little marketplace. There's a prostitute section in Zone A. Zone B is body burning sections. But for some reason they still allow the zombies to be brought into Zone A, even though you think that would be a safe zone. So that they can have little cage fight matches inside of their drunk LSD orgy. You can't do this. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the entire world be a giant desert where they're literally walking across the ocean trying to get the mountains so they can save themselves by getting in contact with the right hand, but that you can't also have civilization still exist inside of New York City, which clearly looks like a nuclear disaster zone. You can't. Everyone should be dead. Zombies can attack during the day. How is there a safe zone? Especially considering that they make it quite a bit apparent that Wicked does not police these zones. That they only can care about destroying their outposts, or guarding their outposts. And the right arm only cares about destroying those outposts and getting the kids out. Again, how are we supposed to care? You can't have it both ways. There's no way that this whole society can exist in the context that the movie is giving me. And if this is how it is in the book, I give that tenfold right there. There's no way this society exists. Look, I have a better example. This is Steelheart, written by Brandon Sanderson. Great book. You want to know what this place takes place in? Post-apocalyptic now. Basically, a comet comes inside of the, well, they call it a comet or a satellite, something, appears in the sky, giant red flare, they call it calamity. A year after it appears, people start developing superpowers. And within a year after that, all of society has collapsed because you have a bunch of superpowered beings who can't be stopped. But you want to know what? They actually start making kingdoms. And they start making small pockets of civilization through the ruins. Like New Cago, or Babylon Restored, which is present-day New York. There are places in this that have civilization because the epics make an effort to make a running civilization. Wicked doesn't do that in this movie. They don't care about civilization. They care about curing this virus by putting up these giant mazes, which, might I just say, how the fuck did you build them in the middle of a zombie apocalypse? There are multiple fucking mazes with 20, 30 kids in each one the size of a fucking city. You're gonna tell me that you built all this during a zombie apocalypse without the consent of the government, and when you're pressed for resources? What? And the reason why I harp on this so much is because it doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's quite clear that they just wanted to rip off the post-apocalyptic environments from other major franchises. Hell, Defiance on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm pretty sure I saw some of that in there. The freaking Prostitute Lane. That sounds a lot like Blade Runner, doesn't it? It doesn't... Again, how many movies can I compare this to? How many have I done so far? Blade Runner, Mad Max, it's freaking The Last of Us, video game-wise. Is Resident Evil. Well, this movie is nothing but an amalgamation of all these other movies shoved into one. And it's disappointingly boring. It's not as bad as some of the other movies that I've seen do this, like Chappie. I'll put it like that. But the CGI on this is just horrible. A lot of this post-apocalyptic environment looks like it was ripped straight from Divergent and Insurgent. Literally, same buildings that have the same sea crest damage on them. How many buildings have this giant chunk missing in a C shape? It doesn't... Why? How? I don't know. CGI artists probably use them as templates. There's probably a template on their program that makes it go a lot faster. But that's not even the worst of it. That's not the worst of the CGI bullshit in this movie. The biggest CGI offender bullshit inside this movie was by far the rat. The rat. Yes. So, yeah, I mentioned how they were in the tunnel earlier, and that's where they let the zombies out. Well, while they're in the tunnel, they find a nest, not unlike I Am Legend inside of the building when he's searching for his dog. Again, how many movies are you ripping off? And it's a jump scare. It's a jump scare. But they're looking down this alley and they see how the zombies are like growing into the walls. And they got like these vine tentacle things going over. Again, The Last of Us. And it's just, they're like, what is this? They hear sounds on this tunnel sitting next to them. And they go like that. And a CGI rat pops out. How much money would it have cost to just buy a rat and guide it using a thing of cheese? And then when the zombie grabs him, you can turn him into a CGI puppet. That's fine. Combine practical, real, with CGI. Fool my eyes. Make it harder for me to tell when you switch these fucking things out. But no, it's a CGI rat, and it looks hideous. I mean, it's like one of the most obvious CGI things you've ever seen. It's all shiny and mucusy, like it hadn't been rendered properly. What the fuck? Between this and Fantastic Four with the stupid ape? Why are you so hesitant to just buy an animal? $200 rat. Some cheese. How much did it cost a CGI artist to make that thing? Well, considering all of the CGI that's already in the scene with all of the tentacles and things, we probably just tacked it on to that. It probably still would have been cheaper to buy a fucking rat. This is lazy. It's lazy, it's obnoxious, it's annoying, and I don't feel even the slightest hint of tension that this rat is gonna jump scare me. Or like when the zombie grabs it and eats its head off. Speaking of which, if it knew the rat was there, how come it hasn't noticed the two people who are obviously making noise and talking right over there? Oh, they hunt by smell. It doesn't smell two human beings inside of their tunnels? I imagine that would be a lot easier for them to smell in. They don't have eyes, they have ears, which they act like they're guided by sound. Again, the zombies from The Last of Us. But then that's thrown out of the window, because when they get far enough away, they shouldn't be able to hear them. They shouldn't. But they're still chasing him because things. When all of the zombies pop out the first time is another moment of just really shitty ass CGI. It's lazy. I could rant about this whole movie and this stupid Hollywood trend of making these stupid lazy CGI pieces of filth. But this movie was stupid. It was bland. I predicted every single plot point, every single jump scare in the film. I was counting down like I was in fucking Ouija. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jump scare! That's how bad this movie was, okay? This movie sucks. It was stupid. And I honestly, God, final verdict, because I don't want to talk anymore, is fuck it. It gets an honest to God fuck it. Go to Black Mass. Don't waste your time with this film. Go see... There's so many other films. Go see Ant-Man again. Go see the No Escape. Go see The Visit. M. Night Shyamalan's new found footage horror film is so much better than this movie ever hopes to be. Yes, M. Night Shyamalan was better than Wes Ball, I think his name was. I don't know, the director of this film. I mean, good lord. If this is what the book was like, how did this become a bestseller? How did this get better than this? Probably because this only recently came out about 1.5 years ago. Well, scratch that, it's probably been about 2 years now. But yeah, this series needs to be made. In an age of superheroes and superpowered movies, this is what we need. We don't need crap like this. Because there's going to be 2 more of these movies, and I guarantee you, here's the plot of the next one. They need to find something to help them to take down Ellen Page and this evil, wicked organization. Probably weapons, but I'm going to go along with manpower. And the whole movie is going to be them looking for it. And they're going to get it, and then we're going to get cut for the next movie. A year later, we're going to get a movie where, guess what happens? It's a 2-hour climax of them trying to take down Wicked in some epic, over-the-top battle that makes no goddamn sense. Yes, this is how all of these stupid book movies feel these days. They're all the same post-apocalypse setting, the same stupid tweenie boppers, and the same stupid, predictable story. Plot point for plot point. Harry Potter did something different, okay? It did. I could even argue that Hunger Games is doing something slightly different. But you know what? I still ranted a bunch on Mockingjay Part 1. Can't wait for Mockingjay Part 2 in November. Yay! Fuck you. So, yeah. I have nothing else to say on this one. Don't waste your money and get an honest to God, fuck it. So, yeah, that's it for me. Did you enjoy the video? Have you seen the Scorch trials? I hope to God that's a no. But tell me what you thought about it inside the comments below, and maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. If you want to see some more of my videos, I'll have them linked in some annotations right down here, and I'll have a subscribe button up here somewhere. So, yeah, follow me on Facebook if you feel so inclined. That is at Facebook/Kelly Young. And if you want to follow me on Twitch, I'll be doing some streams. I'm shooting for once a week, probably on either Mondays or Thursdays. More than likely Mondays. That's going to be at the night time, about 9 o'clock here in Utah. That's Mountain West time. But, yeah, so Mondays at 9 o'clock, I'll be doing some streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/cardmaster9. I'll have links for those in the description below. And, yeah, that's all for me. So I guess I'll see you all next time.